and welcome to CATSweek. I'm Annalise Poorman. At the Bloomington Redevelopment Commission meeting on August 3rd, two development teams pitched their plans for the future of Bloomington's College Square site, a key parcel connecting the new convention center with downtown. The first proposal from Concord Hospitality, TWG Development and Ratio Design, would build a 160-room hotel alongside mixed-income housing. The team proposed a $4 million land swap with the Capital Improvement Board and estimated the project would require about $12 million in public subsidy. Ratio Design's Adam Teese said the proposal would include affordable housing along the Beeline Trail. The competing proposal submitted by Dora and Partners calls for a 135-room hotel, 80 to 100 market-rate housing units, retail space, and a pedestrian promenade linking College Avenue to the Beeline Trail. Unlike the first proposal, Dora and Partners said that they would purchase the property for $1 million and seek a $5 million tax increment financing incentive with no additional public subsidy. Developer Travis Venzel said the housing would be aimed at residents rather than students.
We think that there are 27 units that would be low to moderate income units that would be included in this development, and it would be right along the Beeline Trail.
Dora also hinted at plans outside the College Square proposal, saying that they are exploring affordable housing on the city's south side to replace units that will be lost through upcoming demolitions. During public comment, Bloomington resident Audrey Smith questioned whether downtown needs another hotel.
We don't have a whole lot of market rate apartments that aren't associated with student properties. We clearly don't want student here. The RDC has been clear that they don't want student here. We don't think students appropriate here. So that's how we arrived to the product mix. And that's why we're still somewhere between 80 and 100 units, because we'll still vet that out as we continue to work on our design.
The commission took no action on either proposal, but will evaluate both submissions before selecting a development team for the College Square project. The commission will meet again on August 17th. Mayor Carrie Thompson held a traveling town hall on August 3rd at the Banneker Community Center, where she was joined by the city's new interim director of planning and transportation, Lynn Coyne. Mayor Thompson warned that the city's long-term finances are tightening, telling residents that the impact of recent tax changes will be felt for years.
So, how many hotels do we need? That's my question, and who are we making space for in downtown Bloomington? Thank you.
On homelessness, the city is preparing a new strategy that pairs tighter rules on sleeping downtown with individual housing plans. The mayor said that the goal is to steadily bring people inside instead of managing permanent encampments.
By 2029, we will be losing at least $30 million a year in what we're used to. So as things get more expensive, we are anticipating less income coming in. So things that are not critical for the municipal government to do, we are going to be looking at not doing them. And you will see in our budget that that we're not expanding a bunch of new shiny programs this year. We are committed to doing things like keeping our streets up and running, making sure your water's clean and your trash gets picked up, and that we're seeking balance in all of those things. Speaking of those essential services, we have now, as of today, this is a statistic I love, filled 8,661 potholes this year. So kudos to our Public Works Department. Hi, Bill, come on in. We also made a decision not to close Kirkwood Avenue this year. That came to council later on. And you may have noted that I vetoed their resolution to reopen reclose Kirkwood. I did that for a number of reasons, and there's a memo out there about it. But first and foremost, it was because we had really a great listening session and lots of input from the public that we're just not ready yet. That doesn't mean that we're not going to close it in the future. It means that if we do it and when we do it, We need to put some significant investments into doing it right, so it's safe for everyone, there's shade, it's a nice place to be, and that it actually is closing the street to cars means we're opening it to everyone and everyone can use it.
The Hopewell redevelopment is also entering what city leaders describe as its first major housing phase. The mayor pointed to a recent decision by planners and council that clears the way for dozens of new homes on the south end of the site.
We are partnering with Heading Home and a number of other providers launching a new initiative called Streets to Stability. This initiative will begin closing areas of downtown to sleeping, and we will begin doing that this month. When we seek to close a district to sleeping, we will partner with the people who are currently sleeping there with a by name list that Heading Home is gathering. We will work with service providers, and then those individuals will be partnered with housing resources one by one on an individualized basis. So this program is called Streets to Stability. Heading Home has a grant to fund some rental units that people will go directly into. Others are going to need something other than a conventional rental unit, and so as we move through this process, we'll need to be looking at other resources as well. But the plan is month by month to increase that area of downtown where sleeping is not allowed, and to get people who are sleeping outside inside.
Inside City Hall, planning staff say that they're trying to make infill and small-scale housing projects more workable within the city's complex development rules. Interim Director Lynn Coyne said one of their goals is to make it possible to add new units on large existing lots.
You know that we had a unanimous vote from both Plan Commission and ultimately City Council to approve 98 new homes at Hopewell South. Those are compact lots. There's some multifamily there, and the core building is still getting ready to open, but will be opening soon. This is the first phase of Hopewell. Farmers Market is there every Tuesday. You all can help by sending people to Farmers Market Tuesday afternoons. We're activating that with bands every single week during the summer, and it's right now an intimate gathering, but we would like to really expand that Farmers Market on Tuesdays at Hopewell. This month we expect to plat Hopewell South, and so then we can get moving on construction thereafter. And just to set the expectations, getting started on construction means infrastructure, not digging foundations for housing quite yet.
Kirkwood Avenue remains an open question after the mayor vetoed a council decision to close it to vehicular traffic. She said a new planning effort is underway that could still reshape the corridor.
We're looking at an ordinance now amendment that allows the division of a large lot, into two. And that seems like a very simple thing. No, it's not. Let's say if you have a large lot and you have a house on the front and you have room for another house behind it, there are requirements about frontage, and I mentioned the fire code. The fire code, more than you need to know, a standard fire hose is 150 feet long. And they have to be able to get from that right-of-way, the main street, 150 feet back, so the building can't be any more than 150 feet from the, from that truck on that hose, as measured by the hose. So we have to work that in. You also have to, a lot of those rear lots don't have stormwater drainage facilities, and how do you deal with that? Because it's a small parcel. So those are some of the challenges but we're working on it. We think we've figured out ways to do that, and we're excited by that. That's exactly what we're trying to do. And so you need to find ways to make that work.
The next traveling town hall will be in October. The city's latest community survey drew criticism from the Bloomington City Council during its regular meeting on August 5th. Several council members and local residents said that the survey intentionally excluded Indiana University students in an effort to focus on year-round residents. Jeff Anderson, president of Acuity Research, who conducted the survey, says they purposely designed it to reflect the views of what he calls, quote, permanent residents, unquote, rather than the city's large student population.
The goal of the survey was, again, given that we wanted this to be more of a resident survey, we targeted those who are more likely to be year-round residents and less students, because the opinions from the students, while important, we're recognizing that many of them are not long-term residents, haven't been in Bloomington very long, won't be in Bloomington very long. So we were designing our sample to be more representative of year-round residents outside of the significant IU population. Since those residents are obviously taxpayers, are probably more engaged in the community, more familiar with city services and city issues than the IU population. So the reason, the difference in what you called out from census data versus our sample is taking that into account.
Councilmember Sidney Zulik called the reasoning behind excluding students offensive.
I second Councilmember Strasburg's comment as someone who was very recently a student herself, but also represents 10,000 plus young people. That is a stunningly insulting answer.
Zulik asked how the firm was selected. Communications Director Desiree DeMolina said that the city changed its approach after receiving backlash from the 2023 survey.
In 2023, we did receive a lot of feedback in response to the community survey that was issued out in terms of things like the questions and the questionnaire and some critiques, and residents feeling that the questions were lengthy and maybe did not capture some of the concerns and considerations for the larger community and were pretty targeted. So I don't know if Jeff has anything that he would particularly like to add to this conversation.
We've also recently conducted surveys in other communities with a large student population. Our recommendation at the beginning of this was to take the approach that again from those who are most engaged with the community, that it should focus primarily on permanent and year-round residents. When we've conducted surveys with student populations, we get a very low response rate, either because they're not familiar with the community or they're just not as interested.
The council took no action on the survey during the meeting. However, several members signaled that they would continue discussing how future community surveys can better capture the voices of all Bloomington residents. The Monroe County Waste Reduction District's Executive Committee met on August 4th and advanced budget and policy updates while eyeing long-term tax changes. Executive Director Tom McGlasson reported about $13,000 more in projected revenue and a matching increase in expenses, including staff training and a wrap for a new hybrid minivan. He said that state property tax changes could eventually cut the district's levy by about $150,000 annually, but not overnight.
I think that regardless of what happens, we're in a strong enough financial position with cash reserves that, we don't have to have a knee-jerk reaction to a substantial, obviously we can't, absorb a $150,000 annual hit forever, but we don't have to turn right around and stop a program because we lost $150,000. We have enough money to have time to plan for how to best address this and minimize the impact on the residents.
The Waste Reduction District Board will meet again on August 13th. The Monroe County Election Board met on August 6th, where they engaged in lengthy discussions about a complaint filed against a candidate running for office. Earlier this year, Monroe County Assessor and a Democrat incumbent, Judy Sharp, filed a complaint against independent candidate Jenny Trimble. Clerk Nicole Brown stated that no law was violated, so the complaint should be dismissed.
I am going to the third line of what we received, which says, we do not have a law that makes it illegal. I assume the word "to" should be in there, to offer property in exchange for signing a petition. And that I want to say, I do not see why we should have a hearing in this manner, and I would make a motion that we dismiss the complaint.
The board ultimately voted in favor of tabling a decision until County Assessor Judy Sharp could present evidence to support her complaint. Until that meeting happens, the board will also be seeking further clarification about definitions in Indiana code and election law. Members of the public expressed their opinions as well. Republican board member Danny Shields warned the public that he would have people removed for speaking out of turn.
And it would probably be more fair to give an advance notice of a hearing so she would have more time to prepare. Okay. If people speak out of turn, I will have them removed. We're having a hearing. This is not a football game. I don't need your opinions until you get to the microphone.
The board set tentative dates for a hearing about Sharp's complaint. Before adjourning the meeting, the board allowed time for public comments. Jenny Trimble commented that there is no evidence against her.
I just want to start off by saying I don't mind if you guys have 50 more meetings or hearings over if I violated a state code, because I did not. There will not be one piece of evidence presented because I didn't receive a sheet of signatures, one signature, not $1, nothing for the help and advice that I offered the taxpayers to tell them the public information that's on the Department of Local Government Finance's website that they are allowed to access. Anybody can talk about the tax assessment system. So I'm not worried about that. Have 20 more. There's not going to be any evidence. What I do want to say is I'm very concerned that you, Danny Shields, a sitting member of this board, you have for over a year targeted me, attacked me in person. To people, you've approached people on social media, you've texted people in person, you've told them to stay away from me, don't support me, not have anything to do with me. You've actually threatened people within your own party that if they supported me, there would be retaliation against them. And you attended a signature event in Ellettsville to see who showed up. So that's very concerning to me that a member of this board that has anything to do with my candidacy has been treating me this way, although you have yet to have one conversation with me. That's the only thing I wanted to say other than Penny. I'm not even going to address anything, so I'm not surprised by you. I don't even know how you're allowed to have anything to do with Monroe County after our current jail justice center debacle. You should have no input with this county at all. And I do want to just thank Nicole Brown, because you're the only sitting member up here with common sense and integrity. And that's all I have to say.
Danny Shields expressed his disagreement with Trimble's comment.
Well, first of all, quite an imagination there. Thank you. The meeting that I attended, here's how I attended the meeting. I had 5 hours of 15-year-old drivers that morning in driver's ed. I went home at 2 o'clock. I got my trailer. I went to Menards, and I bought $400 worth of treated lumber, including pieces 14 feet long. Anybody that's carried pieces of lumber that low know what it weighs. I took it home. I put it on the garage, up on the deck to work on it. I said to my wife, let's just go to the Chinese restaurant in Richland Plaza, because by now it was 6:15 or so. I drove into the parking lot of Richland Plaza. I drove up the first row of parking. There was no place to park. I made a circle around again. I came up and did find a parking place. I walked out of the car, went across the street, remembered I forgot my phone, went back and got the phone. We went into the restaurant where we spent about 35 minutes having dinner. I walked back out, we got in the car, and I left. If that's attending your signing, you do have quite an imagination, okay? In the letter that you sent, and by the way, nice AI letter, I appreciate that. It said we sat in the car and watched. We sat in the restaurant and had dinner, okay? So you can continue. You can make up all the stuff you want to make up. I don't care. But we're not going anywhere, okay?
The next election board meeting, a hearing regarding the complaints against a candidate, Joe Davis, is tentatively set for August 12th at 9 a.m. And that is all for CATSweek. Thank you for joining us. For CATS and WFHB, I'm Annalise Poorman.